West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff
Well, howdy,
Hunt
friends. It's
and
8
Bill
a.m. in the
Thorpe.
Mile High
The Jeff
City
and
on
Bill
this
Show
Friday,
on News
September
Talk
12th,
710
2025. Good
KNUS.
morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS. We are moments away from an update from law enforcement, including the FBI, regarding the Kirk assassination. Donald Trump, earlier in the program, we announced that there has been a suspect that has been captured. NBC News reporting his name, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old from Utah. So we're waiting on all these details. We'll bring it to you. You don't need to go anywhere else. We also will have it on YouTube. We'll have the visual in addition to the audio. You can watch it there. In the meantime, make plans. This Sunday, September 14th, 2 p.m., Brave Church. I'll be joining Pastor Jeff Schwarzentraub, Heidi Ganal, Victor Marks, and others for a remembrance of Charlie Kirk. Would love for you to join us. Details at x.com/Jeff Hunt. You need to register. x.com/Jeff Hunt. Brave Church, Inglewood, and Westminster locations honoring Charlie Kirk, along with Rocky Mountain Voice, Pastor Jeff, Heidi Ganal, Victor Marks. Many great people will be there. Would love for you to join us this Sunday, September 14th at 2 p.m. RSVP is required. Link at x.com/Jeff Hunt.
Yeah, make sure you RSVP early on that one. Also want to follow up on the information we're hearing about, again, alleged shooter. We don't have confirmation yet. Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, Utah resident. The information we got from President Trump this morning through Fox News was that a member of Robinson's family is the one that turned him in. President Trump said they got information from Robinson's father, who may be a pastor or a minister, and convinced him that maybe to turn himself in, or at least to contact law enforcement, or that it was okay to contact law enforcement. We don't know. But again, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, Utah resident, is the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter. Also, we're hearing things, we don't have confirmation yet, possibly former military. 22 years old, that's, a little bit of a discharge. Normally you don't get out as quickly as that. A lot of times you re-up for another, but yeah, you could. Yeah. I mean, that would be your 4-year commitment if you did it at 18. So you could get out at that time, but it means you would have chosen not to re-up, and many times they do the second tour. Just because. So,
a lot of news coming in. Take that all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, we don't know. There's still many things. We heard earlier today that he might have been in his late 20s. Turns out maybe early 20s. So until we hear from those officials in charge, and we're monitoring the feed right now, any moment we are expecting to hear from the FBI. The podium is set up, but yeah, stick here and we'll give you all the latest information.
In the meantime, let's go to news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. Friday. It's 66 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 81 today.
All right, we've got to break in here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we've got Kash Patel walking up to the podium now. So let's go ahead. Take it live, guys.
At today's press conference, we will hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Kash Patel, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson,
t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI, and we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that have stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially
we're gonna come back.
Those ideas with which you disagree.
Big news, breaking updates. The FBI has secured Tyler Robinson as the assassin of Charlie Kirk. He is in custody, and we'll continue to bring you more details. Let's go to news with Blake Olson. I guess I'll play the audio for that.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
And it is Friday, 66 degrees, as we continue to monitor the press conference in Orem, Utah. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, once again, they have got their man. The Charlie Kirk assassin suspect's name is Tyler Robinson. He is 22, a Utah resident. If you just joined us, Spencer Cox, the Utah governor.
That had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
So we'll have more as the press conference continues. There's a heartbreaking photo of Erica Kirk riding off in a car with the window down, holding her cross out the window so fans of Charlie's can see the cross she's holding. It's heartbreaking, powerful, and beautiful all at the same time. God bless her and her family. Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna demands lefty Stephen King donate $10 million for Kirk's family after King lied and then retracted that Charlie, quote, advocated stoning gays to death, end of quote. The post from Elon that says the left is the party of murder is approaching 800,000 likes and 61 million views after the assassination. State Department is warning that it may revoke the visas of foreigners who glorify violence after the shooting of Kirk. On Thursday, Deputy Secretary of State Chris Landau said that he was disgusted to see some on social media praising, rationalizing, or making light of the event. A stolen truck tracked from Summit County. It stopped at the Evergreen Walmart on Thursday afternoon, and the Jeffco Sheriff's Department says they moved in. Patrol cars were rammed, and a trooper fired shots. The suspect fled east on I-70, crashed near mile marker 257. Eastbound I-70 was shut down after police found markings for radioactive material inside the crashed vehicle. Jeffco Sheriff's Office Public Affairs Director Mark Techmeyer.
So we had to discover what that was. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office Bomb Squad came out and examined it. It turns out to be a tool that does have radioactive material in it, and it can't be moved until the vendor of that tool comes and retrieves it.
Both the suspect and a trooper had minor injuries, and no one was hit by gunfire. The Evergreen Walmart is about 7 miles from the location of Wednesday's deadly shooting at Evergreen High School, and the community there coming together to support each other after Wednesday night's shooting. They had a vigil last night. Governor Polis.
On behalf of the entire state of Colorado, know that you all are in our hearts and in our minds in every corner of this state, from Trinidad to Sterling to Grand Junction.
Governor Polis told the crowd that the shooting would be investigated, but no answers would sufficiently explain such a horrific, violent act. The victims remain in critical condition, including 18-year-old Matthew Silverstone, while the 16-year-old shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 64 in Castle Rock, 65 in Centennial, 66 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continues. They continue as the press conference in Utah continues as well. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
For the next 3 days, shower and thunderstorm chances over all of Colorado will be increasing, especially in the mountain areas. Highs today, mid to upper 80s, afternoon and evening thunderstorms near 60 tonight with a few lingering showers. Cooler, upper 70s and low 80s with a good chance of showers and thunderstorms Friday and again on Saturday. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
We are tracking a press conference in Utah with the FBI, with the governor, with the leadership of the state of Utah as they give us some information on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson is the man that authorities have identified as the alleged shooter. The governor of Utah saying, "We got him."
Yeah, and it looks like it is a family member that convinced Tyler to turn himself in. We're hearing that it is the father. Tyler allegedly confessed to his father. Reports are that his father is a 27-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. That's been sourced through a couple of places right now. Father then contacted authorities and secured his son before he was then delivered into custody. We are hearing that part of this is they contacted Robinson's roommate, and they were able to get access to some Discord chat that talks about the idea of a drop point for a rifle, that it's wrapped in a towel, has references to scopes and engraved bullets. There are some writings on some of the bullets that refer to fascism, and also seems to make reference to a video game. It's an odd reference at one of them. But yeah, it seems to be mostly family member information that helped track down.
They're going to questions, so why don't we, you want to go back? Can we go back?
Leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating.
Please.
Talk about this level of hatred that this person expressed in the dinner. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
You believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you how he came into custody of police and where he is right now, Mr. Robinson?
Yes. So right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him in. Please, go here. I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah. So how we obtained the gun? The gun was found here. Yeah, so I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities, and did he discuss a loading?
I'm sorry? We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes.
Is he talking with authorities, and did he discuss a motive?
I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s, and having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. But this is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes.
The suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at this university, and is there any history of mental illness?
Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
All right, that's the end of the FBI press conference. Who you were listening to there at the end was the governor of Utah, Governor Cox. So Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, in custody, a resident of Washington, Utah. Washington, Utah sits along I-15, which means it's right before you get to St. George. If you've ever driven to Vegas or California and gone on that route from I-70 to I-15, you have driven through Washington. There's a small little community in Utah. It sounds like Tyler Robinson had committed the assassination and then drove back down there.
Now, here's the thing. I find it interesting that he comes from a small, more rural community.
Yeah.
Not the crime-infested den of liberalism and Sodom and Gomorrah in the large cities that we always talk about. This is someone that is outside of that. Also, that he comes from a family in which his father is a 27-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. And he confessed to his father, and his father is the one that convinced him to turn himself in, and he secured his son before law enforcement arrived. Part of what helped were conversations recently at a family dinner where Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, had expressed anger towards Charlie Kirk coming into Utah. Anger that we've seen reflected in some other people's statements about him being, bigot, misogynist, the other things, whatever you've heard about Charlie, he was expressing those type of feelings. They also talked to Robinson's roommate, and the roommate let him have access to a Discord chat in which he makes references to a rifle, a drop point, the rifle wrapped in a towel, a specialized scope, things like that, even engraving the bullets. And there were several anti-fascist messages engraved on the casings as well in the gun that they found that reportedly was a Mauser 30-06, which is an incredibly good precision rifle at a distance. And then the other question, training, where did he go? How to get the training? Because this is not necessarily a super difficult shot, but an average person just going and getting the gun and not having any practice. But there's lots of open space. He could have practiced other places too. How long? Because I'm curious the timeline. How long had he been working on this? Because I know the Utah event had been announced months in advance. So I'm real curious about how long Tyler, the alleged shooter, had been working on this as well. But thank goodness that it was mostly because of information from friends and family around the shooter that led them to the correct guy that we've seen right now. So, yeah.
We'll continue to bring you the latest, the news. Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, in custody for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We'll get some exact readings. I did look up Bella Ciao. Bella Ciao is what the Italians chanted against the Nazis.
Yeah, it's an anti-fascist statement.
This was what appears to be motivated by the belief that his political opponent was a Nazi, was a fascist, which is written on lots of posters when I go to these progressive leftist protests.
And it brings us back to the conversation we were unfortunately having at the end of last hour with Ralph, our caller, where if you believe that the other party are fascists and are trying to destroy America, or if you believe the other party are communists and Marxists that are trying to destroy America, why wouldn't you pick up a firearm to stop them? Why wouldn't you?
We do in other capacities.
Yes. So the idea is...
I had the husband of a current lawmaker one time on the anniversary of D-Day tell people to go win against the fascists again, and he mentioned me.
Yeah. And that's the thing is.
And I said they're going D-Day. Yeah. When we stormed the beaches and shot each other?
Yeah, exactly. When you had a bunch of humans shooting each other over this. So that's the idea, is that's the question that I really have that's kind of underpinning a lot of this. That if we as Americans are willing to describe our political opponents, those that don't share our same thought, if we describe them as communists and Marxists bent on destroying America, or as fascists and dictators bent on destroying America, why would we not assume some of us out there would then pick up firearms to try and stop it?
Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Campbell Law text line at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Tyler Robinson is the name of the man who's been brought into custody regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The FBI just hosting a press conference in Utah. Kash Patel, the governor, making the announcement. The governor saying, we got him. Now, there's details coming out with regards to what was on the casings, for instance. So what the New York Times is reporting. Online culture and gaming was referenced, up arrow, right arrow, and then 3 down arrow symbols. Do you know what that might mean?
I'm thinking that it's a reference. Again, this is because
they're saying hell divers.
Yeah, it's a cheat code normally for online.
Release a bomb in the video game Hell Divers. Another engraving, notices bulges, OWO, what's this, is a phrase used for trolling in online role play communities.
Yeah, I know the code, yeah. It's just a matter of which game it was attached to. But yeah, that's a reference to the video game code.
Hey Fascist Catch was another unfired cartridge, is the one that most clearly shows the gunman's intent, the New York Times saying. I think it speaks for itself, the governor says. The cartridge was, and others were found alongside the gun that officials say was used to kill Charlie Kirk. And then Bella Ciao was another one. That's an apparent reference to the Italian song adopted by the anti-fascist resistance during World War II. Now, I understand the concern, Bill, of and I don't think you're wrong in it, is that we have gone to war as a country against Nazis, against fascists, against communists. We have taken guns and shot at them in an effort to kill them. I raise the question, though, when I go down to these progressive marches, there are people, every time I've been down there, the Communist Party has its little bookstore. They actually pass out free books to people, and they say Communist Party. So how do you critique progressives and for instance, I'll say these progressives who are gathering at these big marches when they're gladly flying the communist flag, handing out books, promoting communism without necessarily inviting violence upon somebody?
Now, I don't like this, but I'm doing this for a reason. And I'm not looking for your answer on this one, but I'm leading somewhere. So just give me a second here. I will incorrectly answer a question with a question. Did all of the marchers in Charlottesville, Virginia, prove that everybody in MAGA is a white supremacist and or a fascist? No, it didn't. Just because pieces of a group are there, it doesn't mean that is representative of the larger group. Now, just because the communists are down there with the Democrats, it doesn't mean the Democrats are the communists. Just because you have someone like a Nick Fuentes who really, really dances close to that fascism and Nazi ideology, because he for many years, and now there's some questions, was a supporter of MAGA, it doesn't mean MAGA is representative necessarily by Nick Fuentes.
That's correct. But I guess the question I have is, though, I think it's fair in debate and dialogue, and maybe because you and I are both just rational people and not picking up guns to shoot people, maybe that's the difference.
Biggest problem we have.
But,
yes.
But I point this out is that there are times where on both those sides you get creep from those extremist groups into them, right? And I think you should be able to go to that element that's popped up on the right that's embracing like anti-Semitism, blaming the Jews for everything that's happening out there. The Jews were responsible for the killing of Kennedy. The Jews were responsible for 9/11. And you go, guys, it's stupid. Don't embrace that. You could make this the criticism that the Democrat Party's embracing socialism and communism ideals and Marxist ideology, but that doesn't mean pick up a gun to shoot them.
Yeah.
So how do you critique without encouraging violence?
Well, I think that you can also critique on the other side the idea that that the conservatives in the GOP right now are talking about deploying the military onto our streets to combat crime, whatever crime may be at the time, because that's an amorphous decision. We are going to have, Donald Trump has talked about having a war on crime. How do you have a war on an action? We saw how well that worked out on the war on drugs and the war on poverty and the war on homelessness. How do you possibly do that? How do you declare victory? So that's an amorphous goal that allows you to self-define as you are participating in the enforcement. And so that, to me, would be a little fashy. So that's the idea, is the critique. The critique on both sides. What I think the problem is that when it is delivered, and we've had texters and callers that have said things like, all of the last Democrat presidents have all been communist Marxists, and they're trying to destroy America. And we've had people call in and say, all the Republicans are really just brown shirts, and they are coming here to destroy. When you use that descriptor, in my mind, to poke holes at your opponent, what you're doing is you are removing them from the discussion. Now, let me explain. What I mean by that is, if you believe that Joe Biden was in charge of the Biden crime family, or was a secret communist, or that Barack Obama was a secret Muslim that was looking to bring Sharia law to the U.S., you can ignore anything he does politically. I don't have to deal with anything that they say that might be uncomfortable to me, because they're this evil thing that is trying to destroy America. If I turn to Donald Trump and say Donald Trump's obviously a fascist, I can ignore anything else he says because I've already defined him as something evil. You don't have to engage on the ideas. You only have to make fun of the person. That's the problem.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.